Hey everybody, welcome to our channel where we are questioning the New Testament, and not in a disrespectful way. We're on a journey. Many of us who come here on Sundays at 1:15 if you're in the local area. It's a fantastic gathering. We're exploring all the ancient texts from the Old Testament, New Testament, the Vedas, just all of them, massive list. In our own quest, in our own journey for spiritual growth, to know ourselves better so we can communicate with others better, so we can ultimately meditate and communicate with the source of all things, God, in a better way. So we are in the New Testament. We are in Matthew, and we're in chapter 4. This is right when the devil is tempting Jesus. He takes, in the previous video, you would see where Jesus gets taken all over the place by the devil. And in verse 10 of chapter 4 of Matthew, it says, Jesus calls the devil an adversary. So what purpose, the question is, what's the purpose of giving Jesus an adversary? We could speculate on this, but if he's the adversary, it almost seems like God put an adversary there, but why? Because you put him there to die. As we all know, later the story goes, why the adversary if you want everybody to know? Why try to stop it before it starts? God is the Alpha and Omega. He creates all things. So why the adversary? It's confusing to me, and if any of you scholars, honest scholars that really want to discuss it, I'd like your input, and please leave a comment. Number two is, further, is God giving Jesus this fleshly experience of knowing temptation? Like, are you put him in a human body so he can actually have the experience of what temptation is like? But then I think, how could that be true? Because, in my notes here, you're not really an adversary because none of these acts are real, because you are Jesus. You are the Son of God, according to Matthew in previous chapters. So you're the prince, if you will. Everything that you are the inheritor of all things. So I don't get it. I don't seem to understand that. How could you be tempted by anything? And then we go on to question 3. Jesus tells the devil, quote, "The Lord thy God shall not bow." And so the devil is trying to say, hey, I'm going to give you all these kingdoms. They're on top of the mountain. I'm going to give you all these things if you just bow to me, the devil. Like, what the heck is that? Really? Why would that even be a temptation? And he's referring to himself. This is the real question is, he's referring to himself. I cannot bow to you because God doesn't bow. That's basically what he says. So how can he be God, but then refer earlier chapters of Matthew as the Son of God? How can you be both? How can you be your own son? And if you can be, if there's something that the finite mind of man cannot understand, then why is there some explanation, one sentence at least, to give us something, but it doesn't? So Matthew's contradicting himself with no explanation. And then the last and final question is chapter 4, verse 11 in Matthew. The devil, he just leaves abruptly. All of a sudden he cannot tempt Jesus, which seems like you would know that in advance. He just goes. It's so much typical, or it's so typical of the Bible, because these things reoccur over and over and over again. All of a sudden starts to be a story, and then bam, it's over. There's no meat to it. And so there you have it. And so the devil goes without any goodbyes, and all of a sudden a messenger appears. It says in Matthew chapter 4, verse 11, that a messenger appears and ministers to Jesus. Okay, why does Jesus need a minister? He is the one sent by God himself to minister to everyone. Did he not fully study up on the issue? What is happening here? So anyway, that's it for today, and we are jumping in Right after this, and we continue going, we go line by line into the Bible. This is our channel on the New Testament. We have another channel on just the Old Testament where we're doing the exact same thing, going line by line. So if you really have an interest in knowing the Bible and you want to, it's so daunting. You look at it and you go, God, it'll take me forever to read all this. And if you just want a companion, just kind of like follow along. Well, these videos are only a few minutes, and I think it's important for all of us to know all of these religious texts because they are really important, and there are some nuggets of wisdom and some things that we can learn and grow from, whether you are a full-out Christian or you have doubts or you're an atheist. There's still a lot of fascinating things in here. I think it is applicable to everybody and a good thing to know. And if you are in the local area and you want to join us, you can find out more about us by going to the mysticsOfTexas.com, where we welcome everybody because we understand people worship in different ways and we can all learn from each other, and it's really fun. So you can check us out at the mysticsOfTexas.com or our other YouTube channel, mysticsOfTexas.com. Thanks.